vows. The woman I married disappeared the moment she said, "I do." That sounds impossible. I know. I spent months telling myself the same thing. People change after marriage. That's normal. The excitement fades. The routine begins. You start noticing things you ignored before, because love has a strange way of making every warning sign look like a little imperfection. But this wasn't that. My wife didn't change. Someone else came home wearing her face. Her name was Emily, and before our wedding day, I knew everything about her. At least, I thought I did. I knew she hated black coffee, because it reminded her of medicine. I knew she always slept on the left side of the bed. I knew she cried during old movies, but pretended she just had allergies. I knew she couldn't eat meat, but not wouldn't. Couldn't. She had been vegetarian since she was 15, because the smell alone made her sick. I knew the small scar above her eyebrow came from falling off a bicycle when she was 7. I knew she tapped her fingers against tables when she was nervous. I knew the exact sound of her laugh. That was the thing I missed first. Her laugh. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Because everything started with the church. The old church on the hill. The one nobody used anymore. When Emily first suggested it, I thought she was joking. "You want to get married there?" She looked up from her laptop. "Why not?" "Because it looks abandoned." She smiled. "It has history." That was true. The church was over 100 years old. It sat at the edge of town, surrounded by dead trees and cracked stone paths. Beautiful in a strange way, but cold, like a place where memories stayed long after people left. I wanted a beach wedding. Something simple, something bright. But Emily couldn't let go of that church. Every time we talked about another place, she became quiet. Not angry, just distant, like she was disappointed. Finally, I gave in. "It's just a building," I told myself. I was wrong. Some places remember. Some places wait. Our wedding day was perfect. That's the part nobody expects. They think when something terrible happens, there must be signs from the beginning. Dark clouds, bad feelings, warnings. There weren't. The sun was shining. Emily looked beautiful. When the church doors opened and she walked toward me, I actually forgot about everyone else. She looked nervous, happy, human. My Emily. The ceremony was small. Family, close friends, candles everywhere because the old church lights barely worked. When we exchanged vows, she cried. I wiped away her tears. "I love you," I whispered. She smiled. "I know." At the time, I thought it was sweet. Now I think about that moment constantly. Because Emily never said that. She always said, "I love you too." Always. But not that day. The priest asked us to join hands. He said the final words. And when he announced us husband and wife, everyone clapped. Everyone smiled. Everyone except Emily. just a second. 1 second. Her expression went completely blank, like someone had turned off a light behind her eyes. Then she blinked and smiled again. I convinced myself I imagined it. I wish I hadn't. The first few days after the wedding were normal. Almost. Small things started happening. Things too small to mention. She started waking up earlier. Emily hated mornings. Before, I had to practically drag her out of bed. Now I would wake up at 6 and find her already standing by the window, just staring outside. "What are you doing?" I asked one morning. She didn't turn around. "Watching." "Watching what?" A few seconds passed. Then she looked at me and smiled. "Nothing." I laughed because I didn't know what else to do. But something about that smile felt wrong. Like she copied it from someone else. A week later, I heard the laugh. We were watching a movie. Something stupid. Something we had seen 100 times. There was a scene that always made her laugh. Not a normal laugh. Her real laugh. The kind where she covered her mouth because she hated how loud she got. That night, the scene came. She laughed, and my stomach dropped. Because it wasn't hers. It was quieter, lower, controlled. Like someone pretending to find something funny. I looked at her. "What?" She looked back. "What?" "Nothing. You're staring." "Sorry." She smiled. That new smile. Do I look different? I froze. Because I hadn't said anything. "What?" "You keep looking at me like I look different." I forced myself to laugh. No, but I was lying. She did. Not her face. Something behind it. Then came the food. I came home from work one evening and smelled something cooking. For a moment, I thought I walked into the wrong house. Meat. Steak. Emily was standing in the kitchen. Cooking. I stared. "What is this?" "Dinner." "You made steak?" "Yes." "You hate steak." She looked confused. "Do I?" I laughed. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. "Emily, you haven't eaten meat in 13 years. She stared at the pan, then smiled. Oh. I guess people change." She sat down, cut a piece, and ate it, like she had done it her entire life. I barely touched my food. She finished everything. After that, I started paying attention. Really paying attention. She stopped calling her mother every night. She forgot the names of old friends. She wore a perfume she used to hate. But she remembered other things perfectly. My bank passwords, my work schedule, where I kept important documents. One night, while we were getting ready for bed, she asked, "Do you have life insurance?" I looked up. "What? Life insurance? Why?" She shrugged. We're married now. We should know these things. It was a normal question, a responsible question. So why did my entire body go cold? I have some through work. How much? I stared at her. She smiled. Just curious. Just curious. Those words stayed with me. Then came the night I heard the voice. It was around 3 a.m. I woke up because Emily wasn't beside me. The room was dark. The house was silent. Then I heard whispering downstairs. At first, I thought she was on the phone. I walked quietly toward the stairs. That's when I heard her. I'm trying. A pause. Then, no. He doesn't know. My heart started racing. Someone answered. Except nobody was there. And the voice that answered was also hers, but different. Older, deeper, angrier. You waited too long. I froze. I couldn't move. Then Emily spoke again. I need more time. The other voice whispered, You had your time. The floor creaked under my foot. Everything stopped. Emily. Silence. Then she appeared at the bottom of the stairs, looking up at me, smiling. Couldn't sleep. I wanted to ask who she was talking to. I wanted to ask what was happening. Instead, I said, no, because suddenly, I was afraid of my own wife. The truth came 2 days later. In the basement. I was looking for old documents when I found a wooden box hidden behind the wall. It wasn't ours. It must have belonged to the previous owners. Inside were newspapers, letters, photos. Most were from the early 1900s. I almost put them away until I saw the date. The headline caught my attention. Local bride vanishes after church wedding. I started reading. A woman disappeared 1 week after getting married in the same church. The church where Emily and I stood. The church she chose. My hand started shaking. Then I saw the photograph, and my entire world stopped, because the woman in the picture was Emily. Not similar, not a resemblance. Her. Same eyes, same smile, same scar above the eyebrow. But the name underneath wasn't Emily. It said Eleanor Whitmore, born 1883, died unknown. I dropped the paper because suddenly I understood. The woman upstairs wasn't my wife. I don't know what happened in that church. I don't know what came home with me. All I knew was I had to leave. Quietly. I packed one bag, took my keys, walked to the door. Almost made it. Then, going somewhere, her voice came from behind me. I slowly turned. Emily stood at the top of the stairs, Except she wasn't pretending anymore. No soft expression, no confusion, just that smile. That old, unfamiliar smile. "Who are you?" I whispered. She walked down one step, then another. "You already know." What happened to Emily? For the first time, the smile faded. Something changed in her eyes. For just a moment, I saw her, my Emily, scared, trapped. Then she was gone again. She said yes, the woman whispered. What? The vows. She touched her wedding ring. People never understand what they promise. I ran. I didn't think. I didn't look back. Not until I reached the street. The front door was open. She stood there, watching me. The woman with my wife's face. The woman from the photograph. The woman who should have been dead for over a century. And then she smiled. A real smile. One I had never seen before. And she whispered my name. Not the way Emily said it. Not with love. Not with warmth. But like she had known me for a very, very long time. Like she had been waiting. And the worst part, for a second, I almost walked back.